Senator Lindsey Graham joins me now. He's been pressing the White House to make the names of the survivors known and let the survivors speak freely. Senator Graham, welcome back. It's good to have you on again.
Thank you.
I want to begin.
That was an awesome opening.
Well, thank you, Senator, and I appreciate your tenacity in this. You've been one of the voices that has been just absolutely unrelenting in demanding of the White House a release of information. You and two of your colleagues have written a letter to the White House asking for the release of information and the names. What response have you received from them?
Nothing. Bottom line is, I think the survivors and those involved need to be made available to the Congress so we can get to the bottom of what happened, and there's no better evidence than the people were there. Mr. Hicks is going to testify Wednesday. I've been talking to him for about 2 months. People are scared to come forward, and the President needs to make sure that those who come forward are going to do so without having to fear of losing their job or being any reprisals. This administration's been trying to hide the story of Benghazi, and finally it's going to come out, thanks to Fox News and a few other outlets.
What did Mr. Hicks say to you? I mean, can you give us some indication of what we might anticipate hearing this week?
I think the whole construct of how bad it was before, how many times they asked for help and nobody would listen. You're going to be surprised to hear what he says about the interaction between him and Washington. He's the #2 guy. He was Chris Stevens' deputy. He was on the phone with Chris right before he died. He's going to give you a chilling story of what it was like and how little help he received. And he's going to tell you about how he felt when he heard Susan Rice write this off to a spontaneous riot caused by a hateful video. Everybody there knows that that was a complete political smokescreen. This is not the fog of war. She was not confused by the fog of war. This White House, 7 weeks before an election, tried to continue the narrative that bin Laden's dead, al-Qaeda's receding in terms of influence and power, and Benghazi destroyed that narrative and that storyline, and that's what this has been all about for a very long time.
Senator, you heard the President this week at the press conference say to Ed Henry, you know, I'm not aware of any attempt to quiet these people and not let them tell. Were you as shocked as I was when you heard it? And you've been right in the middle of this from day one, trying to get the White House to answer questions. React to me when you saw the President.
Dumbfounded. The witness statements of the survivors taken in Rhein-Main, Germany 2 days after the attack are still being held by the FBI, and I've asked for them 100 times. We've sent probably 30 questions to the President. The only question he finally answered after we made him answer is, what did you do? Did you call anybody in Libya during the attack? And we found the President never picked up the phone. He never called anybody in Libya to get help. The rescue team was stuck at the Benghazi airport 3.5 hours. Come Wednesday, you're going to start hearing the truth about Benghazi, and it's going to make you mad. It's going to make you upset. Our people were abandoned. They were denied assistance. This leading from behind is a wrong model. The world is falling apart, and what you were told by this administration after the fact was a complete political smokescreen. Just stay tuned. There's more to come.
Senator, how far will you push this? How far will you go to make sure that we get answers, and not just answers, but someone is held accountable and responsible as high up as is necessary to really vindicate these 4 dead Americans?
I think the point is well made right there. Until somebody is held accountable for the fact that 4 people were allowed to die, 7.5 hours they were under attack, nobody could come to their aid on 9/11 of all days. Our consulate became a death trap. Every request for assistance was denied. This leading from behind model does not work, and what we were told afterwards was, quite frankly, just a political story, not based on the events on the ground. How far will I go? I will go to the point that I can look Mr. Woods in the eye and other family members and tell them exactly what happened in Benghazi until somebody's held accountable. Quite frankly, Secretary Clinton said she had a clear-eyed view of what's going on in Benghazi and Libya. She never heard of the request from our ambassador on August 15th, about a month before the attack, saying we can't defend the consulate against a coordinated attack, and al-Qaeda flags are flying all over the place. You know, Richard Nixon was held accountable for Watergate. This administration needs to be held accountable for Benghazi, a story of Americans abandoned by their government at a time they needed their government the most.
Senator, I appreciate your being here. And again, I want to say thank you for being a voice of persistence when so many people have just moved on to other things. And I thank you that you've decided we can't move on until we have the truth, until somebody's held accountable. It's an honor and pleasure to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much.